And now it's Boomer Life. Lifestyle ideas designed to make your life more engaging, meaningful, and complete. Celebrating the baby boomer generation, this is Boomer Life with Sterling Fox.
Well, good evening. Welcome to Boomer Life here on AM 650. A couple of guests in studio with me today. We're talking retirement living with Shannon Oaks, a Baptist Housing Seniors Independent Living Community in Vancouver. And from Baptist Housing Sales and Marketing Department, Gillian Fullerton is back with us. Nice to see you again.
Good to be here, Sterling.
And a return guest also in the form of Activity Manager Sharon Ginter from Shannon Oaks. Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm great, thanks. Nice to see you again. It's been a while.
It's been a while, but good to be back.
Well, it's nice to have you back, and we're going to talk a lot about, I got a new study to quote from this, and we're going to talk a lot about activities and the kinds of things that you do at Shannon Oaks. And I've got menus, I've got month-long activity maps here in front of me, so a good discussion ahead. But Gillian, why don't we start with you and back things up?
Sure.
Because this is a huge year for Baptist housing, and in particular for Shannon Oaks. It's the Big 5-0.
The Big 5-0 is right. We've been in existence for 50 years this year, and we are celebrating.
I would think so.
Yes, it's been 50 years since Baptist Housing came about, and we've got all sorts of things planned to do and to celebrate what we do. Baptist Housing has been in the business of marketing to seniors and caring for seniors that long with caring and compassion.
Right. Now, by the way, Shannon Oaks is on the east side of town. It's at 2526 Waverly Avenue. And if I was to say in the area of Killarney Secondary, I'd be about a block away, wouldn't I, Gillian?
About a block away, a block west.
Right.
Along 49th.
Yes, exactly.
49th and Elliott is our cross street,
Okay.
right where the little Killarney Market is, right on the corner.
Ah, now, is that the original site of where the first seniors housing was constructed 50 years ago?
There used to be a seniors care facility on that site, and that was demolished, and Shannon Oaks was built.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Baptist Housing has it because you're the boss for the marketing for the province, and there are communities all over British Columbia. Was Shannon Oaks and that location in East Van the first Baptist Housing location in British Columbia?
It was the first for-profit, yes.
Okay.
So we have some funded ones and we have for-profit ones in Kelowna and in Victoria and Vancouver.
Okay.
And so Shannon Oaks was the first for-profit.
And how many residents currently at Shannon Oaks?
We have 147 suites, apartments, ranging from one bedroom and den to two bedroom, ranging from 500 square feet up to over 1,000 square feet.
Okay.
So there's lots of gracious living. We have over 150 residents. So it's a mixture of men and women. And in fact, Shannon Oaks has the more men than I have ever experienced, because I've been in the industry for 20 years.
Right, exactly, yeah.
And I was shocked and surprised and delighted to see all the wonderful men there are at Shannon Oaks.
Interesting stuff,
Yes.
because the dynamic it's usually far from equal 50-50, isn't
Oh,
it?
never,
Yeah.
never equal.
Right.
Yeah, no. But this has a higher proportion of men than I have ever been accustomed to.
Right.
This is, I'm not sure what to attribute it to. Maybe it's the relaxed, caring atmosphere that's there. It's not pretentious. It's something that is warm and welcoming. And maybe men are attracted to that.
Feels like they're home.
Yeah, it does
It
feel like
does.
they're home.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the key, isn't
Yeah.
it? Now, the more, the homier you can make an environment like that, the happier the residents are going to be, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's talk a little
Of
bit.
course, there's the attractive women.
Well, it wouldn't be like me to overlook that fact now, Gillian.
It happened.
But Sharon, I wanted to talk to you because one of the notes I made here is beyond knitting and cards, older adults staying active. Let's just start off by busting a myth or two here, and this is one of the more fun assignments we get on Boomer Life.
Yeah.
We get to sort of dig in behind some of the headlines and discover that, well, some of these are just, fabrications. So let's talk about this myth that says basically once you cross that magic line, be it 65 or 70 or 75, you somehow mysteriously become a sedentary human being whose only objective in life is to play cards or knit.
That's right. Or bingo.
Right, I forgot
But-
that. I forgot bingo.
But bingo is a hit, though.
Well, of course it is. It
And
always is.
It always is.
Anything you can win money at
That's right.
is always big.
That's right. That competition, right?
That's right.
So, no, there's certain things, and a lot of our residents still love to knit. They still love to read, but there's so much more out there.
Well, that's
so.
the cliche, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted you.
Yeah.
That's a balloon I wanted you to
Yeah.
stick a pin in
Yeah.
for, Sharon, because it's just not true.
No, they still enjoy that, but there's still so much more out there. So
That they do.
they do, exactly. We have so many fitness classes. We have so many exercise programs they can do individually or in a group setting. We have a private kinesiologist that can work one-on-one with them. So they're so active.
Mm-hmm.
They love, a lot of our residents have come from music backgrounds, a lot of music teachers, people that have been in choirs or singing groups, church choirs.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've brought it back. We have a 29-member choir. I have a choir director that comes in, and now they've decided to do a musical theater program.
Interesting.
So, and
What
they're
a-
excited about it.
What an ambitious group.
It
huh?
is very ambitious.
Well, Sharon just mentioned church choirs.
Yes.
And Gillian, let's do the church question right now because it comes up every time we have these gatherings, you and I.
Yes.
The Shannon Oaks is one of many communities operated across British Columbia by Baptist Housing.
That's correct.
And you find Shannon Oaks, for example, on the internet at baptisthousing.org.
That's
And then you
correct.
click on Shannon Oaks, or you can go see any one of the other properties around the province. But I guess the question boils down to, look, if Baptist Housing is behind this place, you have to be a Baptist to get in?
No, you don't have to be a Baptist, Sterling. In fact, only 40%, I would say approximately 40% of our residents are Christian. The other 60% have other faith beliefs.
Right.
And it's not necessary at all. What does happen, though, is that our residents and the staff, everybody, they benefit from the Christian approach to life, to the compassion, to the caring, to the love thy neighbor kind of thing. It's a wonderful atmosphere. I have worked in non-Christian areas.
Right, well,
and
20 years in the business,
Yes,
that's
right,
bound to
that's
happen,
right.
isn't it?
And the difference is night and day. It's wonderful. I mean, I noticed it when I first had my interaction with the board,
Mm-hmm.
the Shannon Oaks board. It was just, I couldn't believe the caring and compassion and the respect that they paid. Their attitude, their approach to things is completely different.
Right, but
and our residents benefit from
Right,
that.
but I suppose it was the compulsory Christianity part that I was looking or was going to ask you about it. In other words, if you live there, do you have to go to church every day and sing in the choir and do all of those compulsory things that a lot of people have sort of negative associations with
Yes.
with religious groups. And so just wanted to clear the air because it's important.
We do have a chaplain on site.
Yes.
I will say that,
Mhm.
and she's wonderful. Karen Anderson is caring and compassionate, and if any of our residents, whether they be Christian or non-Christian or whatever, they can come to Karen if they are going through a struggling time. They're having some anxiety about something. Karen will sit down with them, listen, talk with them, and share with them.
Well, Sharon Ginter is the activities manager now and then has been promoted since we first met you on the show, and congratulations on that.
Thanks.
But, talking about being active, and I've got this wonderful schedule of activities that you map out for Shannon Oaks residents every month. But, physical activity is really only part of the big picture. And you're the
Right.
activities manager. You
Right.
know this. You're talking about a chaplain on site, a
Yes.
counselor,
Yes.
spiritual activity, intellectual activity.
Yeah.
There's a whole big picture going on. So Sharon, in addition, and we'll talk about some of the specifics of the physical stuff, and I've got a study that I want you
Yeah.
to, but what about other activities that you're also responsible for, just keeping that energy level up, the get up and go with the residents intellectually?
We do have a lot of educational components too. Is no matter what, physically maybe some residents may start to deteriorate, but we want to keep everything going. Like I said, physical,
Sure.
but also the mind.
Yes.
So we bring different speakers talking about different things. We had Nidus in the other day giving a whole education component on power of attorneys, representative agreements,
Aha.
making sure that they've got their life all organized. That was a whole kind of thing we were doing this
What a
springtime.
smart thing to
Oh,
do.
it was
Yeah.
excellent.
Get some good
Oh.
free legal advice for a very interested
Yeah.
group of
Yeah.
people? Good
Yeah.
idea.
We brought in different banking institutions or legal institutions talking about fraud or, all areas that,
In which seniors tend to become victimized.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's right. And they think that, no, we know we won't, get into that. But it does happen. And they don't know all the scams out there nowadays.
Well,
So,
March was Fraud Awareness Month, so
Yeah.
way to time that one
yeah,
well.
so it's great. And then we bring in a lot of different practitioners talking about health things. Are we going to talk about osteo, diabetes? And it's amazing that the amount of people that come down for these, you think, oh, they might have heard it a couple years ago or, they've lived with diabetes all their life, but they always want to learn. It's always something new.
So that's, I suppose, that's the fun part about a community like Shannon Oaks, too, isn't it, Gillian? The people who live there choose to live there. They very happily live there, and they don't stop living for a second, do they?
As I've said before, you come to Shannon Oaks with your lifestyle. You don't park it at the door.
Right.
You bring it with you, and we adapt to you so that your lifestyle is just enhanced by all the other things that are offered, by all the other people you meet and you have meals with, dinner and lunch, and you can share with. So it's an enrichment process.
Right.
It's not losing.
May
It's
I
gaining.
interject? The only thing you actually would park at Shannon Oaks is your car if you want to bring it with you when you move in.
You can indeed bring your car. Yes, and many of our residents do that.
Well, and that's another thing. There's again back to the mythology of all of this. Some people still feel, and you've talked to people, no doubt, Gillian, because you're one of the first people come to drop by your office when they're checking out retirement communities and all of the details involved. The idea that I'm trying to think economics among other things, but it's oh gosh, I've lost my train of thought completely. Just completely lost my train of thought. So mark this, and we'll come back to it. Let me just pick it up.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
When people come to talk to you,
Yes.
and want to know things about what it's like to live at Shannon Oaks, I think a lot of them feel that they're going to forfeit their independence. They're going to go into a place where people like Sharon are highly organized and energized, but they're going to control so much with all of these activities and do this and do that and do this and do that. They're basically surrendering their independence. And I think one of the first things that comes out of your mouth is, no, it's exactly the opposite.
It is the opposite. You are gaining more. You have choices. You have choices to choose of the array of programs that you see that Sharon has brought in, that she does for the
Right,
month
and we'll
of
get into this in
March.
our next segment, Sharon. This
But
is fun.
They can choose. They can choose to partake in everything in that day or nothing or one or two things.
Right, right.
So that they are given more choice. And don't you agree, Sterling? We are far richer when we have more choices in our life.
I think so
Yeah.
too, and it's also it's a measure of respect when people are given choices.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
not you're not being warehoused,
No.
and sort of treated in sort of gang fashion. You have individual choices to make every day, and that's a gesture of respect.
An example I will give you, and I think I've given it before, is my friend Mary came to me one day and said, Gillian, I need some more perks in my life. My friends have passing away. I used to have a whole bunch of them over for tea in the afternoon, and they're no longer coming. They can't get out.
Right, sure.
I just need some more perks in my life. Can I see one of your apartments? I showed her one of the apartments. She moved in. She brought her tea-style lifestyle with her,
Okay.
and is now a whole new array of friends, plus some of her old ones.
I'll bet.
But and she's 90.
Okay.
And I'm going, my gosh, she is so full of life.
Isn't
so
it?
full of
Now
life.
she just moved in at the age of 90, right?
Yes.
89 probably when
Yes,
she moved
yeah.
in. And and the one, I suppose, bittersweet aspect to our conversations, and all three of us have had this come up before, is that when you survey people living in retirement communities, the one almost unanimous sentiment that comes out of these surveys is, if we had known how terrific it was going to be to live in an environment like this, we would have moved here a long time ago. Our only regret is we didn't move here years ago when we could have had even more fun.
Exactly. And that is a problem. That is a sentiment that is out there, that people wait too long.
Yeah.
And they come, and perhaps by waiting too long, what happens to them is they can't move into an independent living because they are really not independent.
Yes.
And they have to move into care. And the shock, shall I say, of moving from the privacy of your home and to a hospital-like setting is huge.
Right.
I would be depressed, of having that kind of a shock. But when you move from your home into an independent living apartment where you have your own apartment,
Sure.
your own friends you can invite in, you have huge spaces to entertain them in, you have all array of activities to go to, that kind of thing enriches your life. Your quality of life improves, and
Totally.
you live longer, basically.
All right. Let me take a quick break here, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about, get into some of the specifics of the activities with our guest, activity manager Sharon Ginter, along with Gillian Fullerton, who's Baptist Housing Sales and Marketing Manager. We're talking retirement living at Shannon Oaks on Waverly Place in East Vancouver, and online at baptisthousing.org. Then you click on Shannon Oaks. We're back after this on Boomer Life.
Canada's only weekly radio show dedicated to the baby boomer lifestyle. This is Boomer Life on AM 650.